Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Muscle Car Modeler. And today I'm going to be going over bare metal foil. Some people really love this stuff. I use it quite a bit. It can be a little tricky to install, so I'm just going to show you how I do it and some of the tips and tricks I've used to install this. First thing, of course, you need your X-Acto knife. I've got a Q-tip. I should make it more than one. And I've also got a couple of toothpicks. And I'll show you why I use those. But first thing I do, get my sheet ready. And move all this off to the side. I cut it in strips. And instead of trying to bend it or twist it, which you can do, I generally just go straight and overlap it just a little bit. And I'll usually start right up here at the A-pillars. So I'll take a piece that's already cut, pick it up with my razor here, and push it down. Get that in place. And I'll move on to another section. Cut another strip out. I tend to lay it out all in the area before I cut anything. Sometimes you gotta move it. Sometimes it goes on there pretty well. And just go a little piece at a time. Once I get an area done, I'll trim, make some relief cuts, and then I will push it down. Usually start with my toothpick. And burnish it in with my Q-tip. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries before you actually get it to lay down where you want it to go. Now move on to the next section. Another small piece right here. Alright, now we'll do the ceiling strip molding. Get that butted up as far as I can up there. See it on there, and then burnish it down. Curl it onto the other side. Time for another strip. Tend to eyeball it. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't. So I got all around that window. And make sure I push it down, get in the crevice right there with that. Okay. Now I need to get some more here, get around this window. Start again with the A-pillar. Give that the relief cut right here. Alright. Get another piece right here to continue the fender. As long as you get a nice clean cut, a lot of times you can't see where the seam is. You can push it down, burnish it, which also polishes it, makes it the seam disappear. But it's easier to do it all now, polish it all down, seam it all in, and then do one cut and pull the excess off. I do pre-trim all the way across because there's usually a section that doesn't have glue, and I'll pull that off so there's glue all the way to the ends, and I don't have to worry about that. And let's get the wipers. The Q-tip does a really good job of pushing it down into the wipers. And the toothpick also gets it really in there. And one more piece for the wipers. I'll slide that all the way over, put it right into there. I need to move that piece forward a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now get another long section to go up and down. Alright, I see a little section there and go across that. And there we go. And the camera kind of picks up where the seam is. But if you keep burnishing it, you can make it almost disappear. Especially in person. Let's take this strip right here. I'll do the drip molding. And sometimes, if you look right here, didn't quite get some right here. I will use the Multilo chrome pen and get in there. Put a little bead right there and it blends right in. You can't even tell sometimes. Now it's time for another section. Just need a small section for the last part of the roof drip molding right there on the seat pillar. And then give a small relief cut. A little bit extra right there. And then you can push that with the Q-tip. Now that you got all the foil all around here, this is ready for trimming. And that can go fairly quickly. Although, I did get a little hole right here on this piece. So let's just remove that section and redo it. So let me just pull that off. Clean up the glue. And put another section in there. Get all of the coverage you can before you cut it. So if you got to replace the section, it's a good time to do it before you make the final cut. Or trim with the razor. Here we go. I got a couple more tools here. These are great for pulling them off, although I do tend to use the cute toothpick to push it as well. And then one other tip, black permanent marker. I don't always do this, but if you have a hard time focusing on the blade and where exactly it is on the foil, especially with I got lights shining on it, makes it a little harder to see when the light's reflecting off both the blade and the thing. Take my permanent marker and just rub some black right on it. Doesn't affect the way it cuts, but it makes it a lot easier to see it where exactly the razor is on your bare metal foil. And then you can go to town trimming. And I'll start here. Very, very gentle touch. Just push hard enough. to cut through the foil and let it guide. You can also tilt the blade to help walk it whichever way you want it to go, but generally I keep it at an angle to where I want it to stay. And then make the turn here. I'll stop right there and then put it back in that same spot and continue on over the drip rail molding, turning the blade and just guiding the tip, trimming, and then we'll go down the A pillar, go across here, small little section right there, and then follow it back up and over. Now we're on the windshield pillar. Trim that, cut across there, all the way across to the windshield top, turn, and go down. Stop, do it across there, and back up over the drip molding. There we go. So okay, now that we got that all done and trimmed, ready to start peeling some of this off. Sometimes it's hard to get it started. And then another little tip, when you start peeling, I tend to pull towards the thing. Sometimes you pull straight out, you can actually pull the clear off or any of the paint, but I tend to pull it towards. I'll start piling up my scraps over here. Get some grabbed right there. And then continue to work your way around. There we go. Sometimes I get enough lead and I'll pull it with my fingers. You can see it's leaving some glue residual behind. You can clean that off with a glass cleaner, or even just rub it off with the cloth. But it's one thing you want to make sure you wash it real good before you stick the bare metal foil on, because any fingerprints or whatnot, it doesn't stick very well. And yeah, it can tend to be a little stubborn at times. I didn't push down hard enough when I did this, but let it glide. Or maybe I didn't quite get that area yet. But there we go. You don't push down very hard. You can go through the paint. Pushing it off with the toothpick. I'm getting a little impatient there, but when you do that, it does tend to leave more glue. You can see the glue residue. I need to clean it. You can clean it with glass cleaner or whatnot. And then let's get this area where the wipers are. Now this, I'm not going to be surprised if some of the black pulls off, as the black is painted right over the clear. And sometimes that's an issue, but it's easy to touch up. Well, let's see if any of that actually happens. And then you can go back over it with your Q-tip. Push it down. Sometimes it'll lift. and got it pretty cleaned up, pulled off around the windows. But yeah, you can see there's glue. I'll clean all that off. You can use my t-shirt or even the cotton swab here. This one's not going to require a whole lot of foil. Got to do the marker lights, the wheel wells, all the way around. And then the key locks. The door handles are on the chrome tree. But we'll move on to the back window here. Tend to have to make a relief cut right there, and then you can fold it. But bare foil, it can be a bit of a pain to deal with sometimes, and it can tear really easily. But when you get used to using it or dealing with it, you kind of find out how flexible it actually can be. And let's measure right here. Okay, so right there. So let's see how I did. Okay, one more. So about that far. So let's go right there. So let's make our little cut. But I need to make the and let's pull that section up. See how I did on my measurement. And then burnish it down, polish it up. Alright, now time to trim it. Let's see if I can get it all off. And it's not that this is being easy or stubborn. It seems to always be like this. Easier to put on than it is to take off sometimes. Yay! Got it all. Get it all off. Burnish it down again. And I'll need a bit more cleaning to get the glue off. I'll tend to use a shirt. I'm going to stretch it and do that too. And this will take the extra glue off pretty quick. And since I'm using automotive clear, it's a bit thick, but it's really forgiving in this respect. So, back window's done. All the windows are done. Just got a little bit left to do on the rest of it. And then these are pretty easy. Although to get it in there, let's cut a small section. Here we go. And I just lay it right over. And then you can see it. Then I'll burnish it down with my Q-tip. Get it all around the edges where I want it. And then I'll cut a little slip in the middle. Right there. And then I'll push it in with my toothpick. That gets it inside. Now this one, the lens comes in from the back side and it's red. That comes out pretty nice. Now it's time to trim the outside of it. This I tend to lay the blade a little more flat since it's square, and then slowly drag it, and then do all four, and then pull it off. I'll tear one corner, get it that way, and then pull it all the way around. And again, give it a second to focus. You can see it's all done. I'll do that a few more times, and then I'll get the wheel wells going. Okay, took a minute to clean up, get rid of the extra foil shavings as they were starting to stick to my fingers and just getting in the way. So took a moment to do that. But next I'm going to do the wheel well. These are a little tricky, especially since I like to do straight pieces and burnish them down, so I have to do it in multiple pieces. But I also tend to cut it and do it in an order. So I'll start it whichever side. I'll fold that over. I'll stretch a little bit. I'll do another small piece. But I tend to work my way around. And the reason being is that once I trim it with the razor, hopefully I can pull it all off in one piece. I'll show you what I mean. I'll over that like that a little bit more than that. So there we go. Roll that around. Then a couple more pieces should do it. So it's kind of like stacking them. And then one more piece. And then I'll put that right there. And that way when you cut it with the razor, you can just pull it all off, hopefully in one piece. Okay, and then so here we go. Let's varnish that down with the toothpick and a Q-tip. Okay, and then it does not want to come off in one piece, but that's okay. Alright, let's get my shirt, clean off that extra glue. And there we have the wheel well done. Okay, well we've skipped ahead and finished foiling and getting the last of the bare metal foil done. Got this last wheel well left to trim and pull the excess off, and then the foil work on this one is done. So kind of time consuming. Not really too bad, I don't think. But I really enjoy the way this stuff works and how it comes out. I like to use the toothpicks to push it up if I can get my hands on it. You can also roll it with your finger, which is actually working better for me right now. And here we go. Get some more polishing. Get the glue off with my shirt here. And there we go. Got the foil around all the wheels, all the windows. Got the trunk lock back there as well. And she's all foiled and pretty much ready. Get the windows glued in next and continue on with this particular build. But hope you enjoyed and learned a few tips and tricks that I've learned and used with bare metal foil over the years. And let me know what you guys think. And I'll continue on with this 70 Torino Cobra Twister special.